Welcome to the final day of the 2022 Concacaf Caribbean Club Shield. From Mayaguez, Puerto Rico, Joe Malva here with you for today's action. Later tonight, we crown a champion, but first, we figure out whether it's AS Gosier or Jong Holland who takes third place in this tournament. These two teams not playing in the game they were hoping to be a part of today. Of course, they were hoping to be in tonight's final, but still looking for that pride of coming in third place in this tournament. Chance of rain throughout the day. Temperature a mild 79 degrees. We've seen hotter in this tournament, getting upwards of 90 over the last couple of weeks, but shouldn't be too bad out there today. AS Gosier and Jong Holland have already played each other, actually. Here's how they got to today. Gosier, a surprise win 2-1 in that first match over Real Rincon, and then a 1-0 win over Sharks before tying this Jong Holland team 0-0 in the third group match. They fell, though, 4-0 to Inter Moengo Tapo in the semifinal. On the Jong Holland side, they did not allow a goal through the group stage, 6-0 outscoring all opponents, and then just the wildest semifinal you could imagine saw them lose against Bayamon. They were up in that game 2-1 on a goal that was scored in the 95th minute. There were 12 minutes of stoppage time because of an injury to a player in that second half. Rather, a player getting sick and vomiting on the field at the beginning of the second half. So there were a dozen minutes of
Shield. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the Gosier and Jong Holland teams for this afternoon's game of the Concacaf Caribbean Club Shield 20.
Teams all ready to go, meeting for the second time now in this tournament. It was a 0-0 draw in the group stage, but good reason for that. We'll get into that in just a moment, but first the lineups. Mikhail Germain's AS Gosier's side. He hasn't had a lot of options. It's a very shallow bench. Only 2 players on the bench, so not much to choose from, but this is the lineup he sends out there. Cédine Livier, the player leading the way. He's got 2 goals already in this tournament, and Ronan Popote as well has netted 1 for AS Gosier, representing from Guadeloupe. Here are today's referees, led by Fernando Moron of Panama, Princess Brown of Jamaica, and Henroy Barker of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The assistant referees, Quincy Williams from Trinidad, is the 4th official on the sideline as the captains meet for the coin toss. Johan Nankasuri for AS Gosier, and Brian Anastasia on the Jong Holland side. Let's meet Jong Holland now as well. This is a team that really maybe deserved to be in that final, just collapsed in the last moment against Bayamon. They are led by Sharono Rocha in the middle. He's got 2 goals already in this tournament, and the goal scoring has been spread out. Jean-Baptiste Gaspar, Davidson Rosa, Yorensly Martina, George De Brito, and Brian Anastasia all have one as well in that starting 11. 6 starters have a goal for this Jong Holland side. Mikhail Germain, the head coach for AS Gosier, hoping to come away with something here, end up on the medal stand in 3rd place. And on the other side, Lennox Maurice, again, was hoping they were playing later tonight in the title game, and it seemed like that would be the way things went until at the last moment, Bayamon scored twice in stoppage time. As the host nation here in Puerto Rico, they go through to the final instead. Still plenty to play for by way of pride and bragging rights in the Caribbean region. Gosier in the red from left to right. Jong Holland in the red, white, and blue from right to left. And we are underway from Estadio Centroamericano de Mayaguez. 3rd place match in the 2022 Concacaf Caribbean Club Shield. So when these teams played last in the group stage, 0-0 the final score, but as I was alluding to before, good reason for that. Jong Holland, they just locked it down in that game. They didn't need to win. A draw would have seen them through as the group winners because of a goal differential that was 4 goals better than Gosier. So we'll see if this one is a little bit more open. There's obviously no jockeying for position in the group stage here. Just a straightforward 3rd place match, directly to penalties if need be, no extra time, and that goes for tonight's final as well. Only chance on a set piece for Gosier. That one taken toward goal. Ambitious effort. Goes by the wayside. AS Gosier made it into this tournament as the Guadalupe Division of Honor champions in the 2020-2021 season. And Jong Holland has been dominant of late in Curaçao's top flight. The reigning champions there and in first place again. Giveaway though at the back here from Jong Holland. The goalkeeper, Mark Van Ansem. A misplay on the clearance. Yuma Gaspar floats it in and just over the bar. So 2 minutes in, Gosier looks like they're ready to play. And Jong Holland does not appear set to begin this one. Caught napping at the back a couple of times already. AS Gosier started this tournament off with an unlikely win of sorts against Real Rincon. Real Rincon went up a goal in that game. They were leading 1-0 a half an hour in on Gosier, and it was a Gosier team that had no subs listed in that match, so the 11 out there were the 11 to go. Gosier missed in that game 2 penalties before they finally made a third. They were given 3 in that game. They finally scored to make it 1-1 and then battled back. Olivier Serine scored the goal in the 76th minute to go ahead and win that one for Gosier and set the stage for what was a successful group stage. Very easily could have turned the other way that day instead. After going down a goal early, Real Rincon was controlling the play. Gosier could have very easily folded and not made it to this point. Taken away in the middle by Davidson Rosa. Jong Holland on the attack. Played in the middle, nobody home. Yuma Gaspar clears. Olivier Serine, number 9 there, top of your screen in the red for Gosier, the target man. They try to play into his feet as often as possible. 2 goals in this tournament. Turned by Rosa at the end line. Cuts it in for a shot that goes wide. Jong Holland finding some opportunities going forward now after being on their heels for the first couple of minutes of this one. Sherwandel Rocha took the shot, leading scorer with 2 goals for this side. Here's Linon. Jong Holland, a very rich history in Curaçao. Going all the way back to 1919, this club's history. Foul goes against Gosier. And for Jong Holland, they have performed well previously in Concacaf competitions. As we take another look at this one, Olivier Serine, just a little bit too much as he tried to win the ball back. Jong Holland, they have made it to the Concacaf Champions Cup back in the old format before it became Concacaf Champions League. 3 times they played in that, 1978, 1979, and 1985. AS Gosier, a much newer team. Already 2 championships, though, in Guadeloupe. Played down the wing. Long run for Malik Brosius. Can't keep it in. For Jong Holland, they've still got 6 matches to go this season in their domestic league in Curacao. Hoping to once again take that trophy. Popped over the top. Now played centrally. Chagnot takes it down. Thomas Chagnot goes down. Was hoping for a penalty call. Looking over at the official. And Fernando Maron says no. Here is Urensley Martina. They so often attack through him on the left side. Very good with the ball, a lot of speed. But couldn't beat the 2 defenders that converged. Jong Holland last season won the league in Curacao by just 2 points. That was a bit of a contrast from the year prior when they won by 8 and had no trouble getting through the league. Here's Gaspar. Maron having a word with Ronan Popote. Ethelbert Dahl in charge of that back line for Jong Holland. Led them through the group stage unscathed, did not allow a goal. All the way back for Dimitri Edouard. Edouard made a handful of big stops in the first group stage game against Real Rincon to keep that game at 1-0 for as long as it was and allow the 10 players in front of him to make that comeback. A lot of national team players on this Jong Holland side for Curacao. Urensley Martina, who we've seen already coming down that left wing, has got 5 caps for Curacao, 3 goals as well. The captain, Brad Anastasia, 4 appearances. Danel Rosa and Davidson Rosa, 1 cap each. And Ethelbert Dahl on the back line, 1 cap as well. Here's Martina. Urensley Martina sends it toward the back post. Edouard reads it the whole way. One back by Dahl. Here's Jean-Baptiste Gaspar. Pulls it back through. Looking for Rosa down the right side. This is the final year of the Concacaf Caribbean Club Shield and the Concacaf Caribbean Club Championship. With the upcoming expansion of Concacaf Champions League, both of the current tournaments will give way to a brand new Caribbean Cup that launches in 2023. 31 Caribbean Football Union member associations, 27 of them with their leagues classified as non-professional leagues. Those are the nations who are allowed to enter this Club Shield. Among them, Curacao and Guadeloupe. These are the two representatives, of course. Aruba, Bonaire, Dominica, Martinique, Puerto Rico, St. Lucia, St. Martin, Suriname, Turks and Caicos, all the other nations involved that had teams in this year's tournament. Panama, Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago. Dominican Republic, Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, and Haiti are the four nations with representatives who are allowed to take part in the club championship. And that comes up in May. That takes place from May the 13th through May the 25th. And the winner of tonight's game between Bayamon and Inter Moengo Tapo will play the fourth place team of May's Caribbean Club Championship in a playoff to decide the last berth into this year's CONCACAF League. Cibao and Atletico Vega Real will represent Dominican Republic. Violet and Arcai will represent Haiti. And Cavalier and Waterhouse will represent Jamaica. No teams this year from Trinidad and Tobago in the club championship. And the winner of May's club championship will qualify for next year's CONCACAF Champions League. Second and third place teams will get berths into this year's CONCACAF League. And of course, as I mentioned, fourth place will have that playoff against either Inter Moengo Tapo or Bayamon, whoever wins later tonight. Give it away in the middle. Here's Dahl. Now George DeBrito. Taken down with the left hand by Davidson Rosa. Here's a second look. Tried to get away with it, but just a little bit too far away from the body for the official to let it slide. Taken back by Chenio. One of the bright spots Chenio has been in this tournament for Gosier. Olivier Serine. Not the right weight on that one to lead. Jesse Rimpar-Cole into space. Rosa down the right wing. Heavy touch. Allows Ronan Popotai to come across and clear it. And that ball was just over the line, out for a corner kick. Jong Holland has struggled to start quickly in this tournament. See if they could get something early in the first half here off this set piece. Whipped into the back post. And wide of everything in the end. There was a brief moment there where it seemed Like that one might be tapped in at the back post. Good delivery from Rosa. Just out of the reach of Kent Sully. Young Holland scored in the 50th minute of their 1-0 win over SWA Sharks FC in the opening group stage match. They beat Real Rincon 5-0, but all 5 goals came after the 40th minute. Of course, that 0-0 draw against Gosier in the group stage. And then in the semifinal, they were able to get the goal from Rensley Martina in the first half, but then did not get that next one from De Brito until stoppage time in the second half. Rocha is fouled. Jesse Rempar-Cole, the guilty party. Nice move by Rosa on the right side. Pressure comes from Rosa once again. Davidson Rosa in this tournament already has 1 goal. Brosius with some help around him, but 1 touch too many. And Brian Anastasia takes it back for Young Holland. Now Gaspar. Over the top from Kent Sully. Looking for your Rensley Martina. Back for De Brito. Longer spell of possession now for Young Holland as they take control of the match. Over the top toward Martina. Keeps it in at the end line, centers it. And it's out for another corner kick. Good ball over the top from Ethelbert Dahl. Davidson Rosa was the one crashing in at the near post. Johan Nankasori made the clearance, conceded the corner. Whipped in again, deflected toward the back post. And that one last out off Jesse Rempar-Cole. Martina on the short corner. Young Holland's gone short each time. Get that better angle to send the cross in. Hasn't yielded a goal. But it's yielded a couple of instances in which AS Gosier has been scrambling to clear at the back. Same thing again. Martina cuts it back underneath this time. At the end line, puts it in front. Ethelbert Dahl tried a cheeky little back heel flick. Never got through. Daniel Rosa gets it back into play. Davidson Rosa, now you're Rensley Martina. De Brito gets it by Olivier Serine. Now Gaspar holds it up for Anastasia. Good build from Young Holland. Sluggish start to this match, 5 to 10 minutes in for Young Holland. But the next 10 have belonged to them. Can they get a goal out of it? Squared back by Rosa. But the run from Martina took him away from the ball. Olivier Serine. Good step in the middle by Kent Sully. Baptiste Gaspar. Looking for Sherwendel Rocha. Just does keep it in. Team's leading scorer, Sherwendel Rocha. Cuts it back through a couple of defenders, gets it into Davidson Rosa, and it's still alive, but now in the hands of Dimitri Edouard. All of these Jong Holland attackers, so difficult to knock them off the ball. Gaspar put it behind Olivier Serine. That stops that attack in its tracks, but recycled again by Serine. Cleared by Daniel Rosa. Romain Leon looking over the top. Gets it back. Yuma Gaspar. Jesse Rempart-Cole couldn't hold on to it. Chenot to Linon. Gosier alleviating some of that pressure that was mounting from Jong Holland. Romain Linon down holding his left leg after that challenge. Happened right in front of Fernando Maron, the official. Good view of it. Allowed play to continue. Turned over by Chenot. De Brito goes across for Ethelbert Dahl. Sloppy at the back and given away by Anastasia. Taken by Lauba. Now Tomas Chenot with Karim Lauba tried to give and go. Recovered by Samuel Chabral. Olivier Serine. Out wide into space for Yuma Gaspar, but the flag goes up. And that ends that attack. Won back by Yuma Gaspar. Neither side yet with anything going on offensively. Nothing dangerous, at least. A couple of attacks that looked promising for Jong Holland in the build-up play. Just lacking anything in the final third. Verging on 120 minutes played between these two teams in this tournament without a goal. A scoreless draw in their group stage match against each other. On that day, you were able to chalk it up to Jong Holland maybe playing for that draw because that's what guaranteed they would win the group. Here, Ensley Martina. Deflected on the way through to Gaspar. Serin floats it to Chagnon. Contact there, top of the box, as Ethelbert Dahl runs through the back of Yuma Gaspar. Dahl over the top. Into space for Rocha. Just stays in, but nobody in the middle. Pressure down in the corner from Gaspar. Nearly forced a turnover. Jong Holland plays through it. Gaspar puts it wide of Martina, but this one too long for Olivier Serin. Both teams just sloppy in the link-up play in the middle. Nothing dangerous in either attacking third. You wonder if maybe starting to take its toll on these players, playing a fifth match in the span of just a couple of weeks. Began this tournament on April the 15th. Here we are on the 24th. 9 days spanning the tournament. These teams each played 3 group matches and a semifinal. And neither side with a pretty deep bench. The bench for Gosier features 1 goalkeeper, 1 outfield player. The bench for Jong Holland, 3 outfield players and a goalkeeper. So 2 teams playing a 5th match in 9 days without the luxury of players to rotate through. And perhaps the wind taken out of the sails of both of these teams just a bit in their semifinal losses 2 nights ago. Hoped that on this Sunday they would be playing for that title in the 2022 Concacaf Caribbean Club Shield, but settling for a 3rd place match here in Mayaguez. And we are scoreless through 30 minutes. Joe Malfa here with you for today's action. AS Gosier representing Guadalupe, and Jong Holland representing Curacao. Taken inside by Rosa. Now Kent Sully. Every time he's had the ball at his feet, he's looked forward, tried to spur something on the attack. Sure, Wendell Rasha couldn't come away with it. Here's De Brito. Now Chenot tries to stir something the other way. Heavy tackle put in by Sully. Fernando Maron wants him to come back for a chat. Will it be just a chat or a card? And Sully having a word with the official. Looks like it'll just be a talking to. Heavy collision at midfield. And the first yellow card of the match. The captain, Brian Estacio, down for Jong Holland. Yellow card given to Romain Leonon. He reads the play, but just a couple of steps too late. Maybe retaliatory for what he thought should have been a foul there against his teammate.
Atención, por favor. Tarjeta amarilla ha sido mostrada al jugador número 7 del equipo Gosier, Romain en el minuto 34.
Corner again on the way for Jong Holland. They've already had a handful. They haven't amounted to anything. A couple have been dangerous, flared in through toward the back post, but nobody able to get on the end of it and tap it home. Played in again toward Dahl. Now a third corner in a row for Jong Holland. All three produced the same result. Well defended by Gosier in rapid succession. Rosa looking for it over the shoulder. And cleared away by Yuma Gaspar. Down the left wing for Malik Brosius. Numbers forward in the box for Gosier, but the service lacking. First time in quite a while that we've seen that many numbers forward for Gosier in the box, but does not amount to anything in the end. On the verge of 3 scoreless halves of football between these two teams. Going back to their scoreless draw in the group stage. Sully over to Dahl. Looking over the top again. Sends it. Rosa. Biding their time around the back here. Romain Lenon goes back again for Ronan Popotai. Popotai over the top. Dealt with by Dahl. Kept alive by Olivier Serine. Drives it. Save made. Rebound falls for Rempar Cole. And cleared away. First time that Mark Van Ansem has had to make a stop. Olivier Serine has scored from distance like that in this tournament already. Was hoping for another. George DeBrito. Maybe that springs this game to life. First shot we've seen from either team in quite some time. That foul goes against George DeBrito. 5 to go in this half. Either goalkeepers only had to make one save, with Mark Van Ansem's coming just moments ago. Rain beginning to fall in Mayaguez. Don't believe that should affect too much on the surface. Before the match began, they had the big sprinklers going to water the field. It's already a slick turf surface. Maybe keep an eye on the player's footing with an ongoing rain, but the ball should continue skipping the way it has been. Dahl looking over the top every chance he gets. This one's a good ball into the path of Rosa. Is he able to keep it in at the end line? He was. And he earned a corner out of it. Well done. Curled in from the corner. Falls down for a volley. And it misses the target. The set piece is mounting for Jong Holland. Up to 7 corners, but nothing to show for it. Rain coming down a bit harder now. Here in Mayaguez. Take away in the midfield. Serin. Olivier Serin looking for an option. Back for Yuma Gaspar. Curled in, center of the box. Header, goalward off the post. Chanyo had a chance. Best chance for either side this afternoon. Gosier is just sitting back, content to let Jong Holland dictate the tempo, dictate the territory, but they have turned it into a couple of dangerous counters in the last 10 minutes. Mark Van Ansem had to make one stop on that shot from distance by Olivier Serin, and watch that one clank off his post. Now again, through Brosius. Back for Chanyo. 2 defenders converge. Urensley Martina making the run down the left side. Floated over his way. Taken by Gaspar. Into Rosa. Davidson Rosa shoved off the ball cleanly. And then commits to foul as he lunges in and clips Dimitri Edouard. Will be shown a yellow card as well. And the trainer's being summoned on for a look at Edouard here in the final minute of this first half. Into stoppage time now in the first. Edouard back to his feet. Just 1 minute of added time here in this first half. Neither side appears in any particular hurry to try and find anything before that halftime whistle blows. These teams have played 3 halves of football in this tournament, all scoreless as that whistle blows to end the first half. Gosier nothing, Jong Holland nothing. Best chances belonged to Gosier, including the one that hit off the post. We'll see what the second half has in store, but scoreless at the break here in the 2022 Concacaf Caribbean Club Shield third place match.
Qatar Airways, la línea aérea oficial de la Concacaf Jong 2022. Orgullosamente conectándose desde 12 destinos de Estados Unidos al mundo a través de una red que sigue expandiendo. Volando de forma más segura y económica. Qatar Airways, buildup. Se habla inspirar con los colores de Puerto Rico. La vibrante paleta de colores de nuestra isla brindará el escenario perfecto para tu próximo evento. Conoce más en discover.puertorico.com /sports. El Departamento de Recreación y Deportes cuenta con una amplia oferta académica, deportiva y recreativa a través de sus programas del Instituto Puertorriqueño para el Desarrollo del Deporte y la Recreación. Para detalles, comunícate al 787-782-2200 o visita Facebook, Departamento de Recreación y Deportes, e Instagram y Twitter, Recrea y Deportes. Todos por el deporte. Agradecemos el apoyo al municipio autónomo de Mayaguez. Mayaguez, Sultana del Caribe, capital del deporte y la cultura.
I'll look back at the highlights from half number one between AS Gosier and Jong Holland here in the third place match of the 2022 Concacaf Caribbean Club Shield. One of two tournaments we've got going on in Concacaf in the Caribbean region in these next couple of months. The next one begins on May 13th. That's the Concacaf Caribbean Club Championship. The fourth place finisher of that one will take on the winner of this tournament. We will decide that later tonight when Inter Moengo Tapo takes on Bayamon. So far in this one, these two teams playing similarly to the way they did in the group stage. They met in Group B play, finished as a scoreless draw, and we are scoreless through one in this one. The middle third of this half, from about minute 15 to about minute 30, Jong Holland seemed like they were ready to take control of this game. They started finding the channels inside and outside to get in behind that AS Gosier back line. One save was made by Dimitri Edouard. Outside of that, just half chances created by Jong Holland, where it seemed like they had a lane to shoot. Took that shot, but it was wide, like that one right there. Cross to the back post. Maybe if Kent Sully was a step or two quicker, he's able to tap that home. But a lot of maybes. This one, too. Rosa was available at the top of the sixth. The pass didn't get there. AS Gosier keeping their defensive integrity, not getting stretched out, even though Jong Holland is trying to play over the top consistently, mostly through that man, Ethelbert Dahl, directing things on the back line, looking to hit it over the top every chance he gets. But they've maintained a good position. They've held their ground. They haven't given any really good looks to this Jong Holland team. In fact, AS Gosier has taken the better of the chances themselves on the other end. They've sat back a lot, allowed Jong Holland to play around like this in the build-up. But then Gosier has been able to strike when it has come to a couple of counterattacks. One shot from a ways away by Olivier Serine forced Mark Van Ansem to make a stop. And then as that half went along, they had a header that went off the post as well. AS Gosier. Through the group stage, these teams had identical records of 2 wins, a draw, and no losses. The goal difference was on Jong Holland's side at +6. That's why they came through as the Group B winners. And again, part of the reason why perhaps they played to that 0-0 draw in the group stage, it was mutually beneficial. The draw for Gosier meant they clinched their spot as the top-ranked second-place team to get through to the semifinal. And the draw for Jong Holland ensured that they would win Group B. So a mutually beneficial draw. You could chalk that up possibly as to why that one finished 0-0. Not the same time this time around. This time there's no jockeying for a position in a group stage. It's straightforward, third-place match. You win, you get on the medal podium. But still cagey. Opened up a bit in the second portion of that first half. And it opened up as the skies opened up. So you wonder if the surface is playing a bit quicker and certain players are having trouble with footing that allowed the game to open up just a little bit more. But it ends scoreless through 1 between Jong Holland and AS Gosier. At the end there, Dimitri Edouard caught a bit of a knock as this one was played through. And Davidson Rosa picked up a yellow card. He has one, and on the other side, Romain Linon has a yellow card for AS Gosier in a scoreless first half. ready to begin half number 2 between Jong Holland and AS Gosier. Change made at the half on the Jong Holland side. Chardisson Clarissa comes in. Brian Estadio, the captain, goes out. Scoreless through 45. Still through the rain here in Mayaguez. AS Gosier in the red from right to left. Jong Holland in the white from left to right. Don't anticipate we'll see any changes yet on the side of AS Gosier. They only have 2 players listed on the bench, 1 a goalkeeper, 1 an outfield player. And here we go with the second 45. No correction on that substitute. De Brito out, and Estacio stays in. Chance coming on a set piece right away for Jong Holland down that left side. Jong Holland had a number of set pieces in that first half, mainly from the corner. 7 corners to be exact, but unable to convert. Before this free kick is taken, Fernando Maron wants to come in and have a word with a couple of the players that are shoving each other around a bit. Guilty parties, Yuma Gaspar and Urensley Martina. Comes the service. Loose in the middle, in front, and the flag is up for offside. Rosa, a heavy touch down the wing. Was able to keep it in, but unable to keep it alive. Good move in the middle by Anastasia. Gets it to Rosa. Service arc toward the back post, but curling all the way down to the far corner flag. Rocha's ball in the middle. It's cut out. All right, Romain Leon has to be careful, does have a yellow. And this one out for another corner kick. They've opted to go short on a lot of these corners to get that better angle. They continue going to that well, and Gosier just not there to defend it, at least as far as that initial ball is concerned. They keep letting Martina take that cross. On the flip side, they haven't conceded any chances off of it, so perhaps they have Jong Holland right where they want them in terms of their defensive positioning. Waiting for Gosier. He goes down hard, and goes down grabbing that right leg. Concern now for Malik Brosius. Remember, just one outfield player available on the bench. Not the only player down though right now. Ulrich Pontoflet down as well for Jong Holland. Corner played into the back post, loose in front at the doorstep, and it bounces in. Pinballed around. Not sure who will even get credit for that one, but Gosier will take it as they go up a goal in the 52nd minute. All converging on Johan Nankisori from the corner. Let's see if he gets the last touch to it. Slapped down by the keeper, Nankisori. He didn't even intentionally do that. The goalkeeper slapped it down. Mark Van Ansem deflected off the heel of Nankisori and just spun in. What a break for Gosier. Right there, look, he didn't even shoot it. He was falling out of bounds as his momentum carried him. And just a backspin on it carried it over the line. Well, when you get into a deadlock between teams like this, where they played already in this tournament in the group stage, did not produce a goal, played a half of this game, did not produce a goal, usually it's going to take something spectacular or something random like that to finally break through. And that is exactly what happened. So now in this third place match, Gosier with the inside track and potentially ending up on the medal podium. How does Jong Holland respond? Nothing was clean in the attack in that first half for Jong Holland. They had a couple of instances where they possessed the ball, they moved side to side, it looked good, But once they got in that final third, just unable to find a way through, over, or around this Gosier back line. They get a second one on the counter. The flag goes up this time. This is the first time that Jong Holland has faced a deficit in this tournament. If you're wondering how that's possible considering they lost, well, when they lost against Bayamon in the semifinal, they never actually faced a deficit. The last kick of the ball was the goal that Bayamon won on. So they didn't play a single minute of gameplay facing a deficit. Yellow card given here to Jesse Remparcol. Jong Holland did not allow a goal through the group stage. They were up 1-0 on Bayamon. It was tied 1-1. Going to stoppage time in the second half, they took a 2-1 lead, Jong Holland. Remember, a dozen minutes of added time were given because of the player who was sick on the field at the beginning of the second half. That caused a 10-minute delay. Jong Holland went up in that stoppage time in the 95th and conceded twice to Bayamon, 98th and the 103rd minutes. But when that last goal was scored, final whistle was blown. So for the first time in this tournament, Jong Holland faces a deficit. Balls for Rosa. Now Shawando Rocha deflected. Edouard there.
Bang, 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 hey! Bang, Risa, bang! Guys, Risa, guys! Hey, guys down!
Now, should Jong Holland come back and tie this one, remember it's directly to penalties all day today here in the third place match and then again in the final. And that will be contested at 8 p.m. Eastern Time between Inter Moengo Tapo of Suriname and Bayamon FC of the host nation, Puerto Rico. This is the second time that Jong Holland has gotten through to the final four of this tournament but lost in the semis. Did so in 2019 as well. Deflected, bounced out wide. Mark Van Ansem is having a second half to forget on this slick turf. Gosier is letting it fly at will now.
Atención por favor, sustitución por el equipo Gosier. Entra a juego el número 16, Alan George, sale el número 11, Yuma Gaspar.
Yuma Gaspar's day is done. Alan George comes into the match. That's the second time now that George has subbed in as an outfield player. He's listed as their backup goalkeeper as well if need be. But for a team with just two options off the bench, has to go into the field. Baptiste Gaspar keeps it alive for Jong Holland. Hour in the books, half hour to go in the third place match of the 2022 Concacaf Caribbean Club Shield. Gosier in the 52nd minute. Goal scored by Johan Nankasori. And he did not even intend to do it. Off a corner kick, he was falling out of bounds, his momentum carrying him. The ball ricocheted off the back of his left foot, and the backspin took it across the goal line. This one out for a goal kick, and Jong Holland thought they had won another corner, although they haven't done much with the corners yet today. They've got 8 corners already, and not too many of them have appeared threatening.
Vamos, Pito. Cuida otro, mala. Hey, bang guys. Hey.
That one ricochets all the way down in the area. Eventually Martina. Strong step on the right side by Chabral. And it's lost back to Jong Holland. Can they make anything of this one? Eventually Martina has to retreat to get that ball. Once again, Ethelbert Dahl, diagonal ball over the top. He's done that all evening. Martina takes it end line, floats it in front, nobody in the neighborhood, and too much on that pass as well. Just picked the wrong pass in the end. Yellow card issued for that last challenge. Dahl just cut off. Thomas Chagnot didn't really make any play for the ball. Another chance on a set piece here for Gosier. Instead, they take it quick. Linon goes short, and opportunity wasted.
Attention please, a yellow card has been shown to number 22, Ethelbert Dahl of the Jong Holland team, on minute 63.
Another set piece for Jong Holland in the attacking half, but they just haven't looked crisp. See if they could find something here to get them back into this one. That one almost did it. Any opportunity that Jong Holland has had has come from afar. Nothing going on in the 18-yard box. Have to tip the cap to AS Gosier for their defensive efforts, not only today, but in this tournament. Maybe a bit overmatched Gosier in that semifinal where they fell 4-0 to Inter Moengo Tapo. Although 2 of those goals came late after they were already down 2-0. And Gosier was just trying to press at that point to get something back. Stretch the game out a bit. But prior to that, Gosier in the group stage gave up just 1 goal. They shut out Jong Holland in the group stage. The 1 goal they scored was a bit of a fluky one against Real Rincon. And Gosier then shut out SWA Sharks FC as well. And this Jong Holland side in this tournament, already 8 goals scored. They've scored in every single game except for their 2 so far against Gosier. Rain picking up once more now in Mayaguez. Started to subside just a bit in the early portions of this second half, but now coming down again as hard as it has been. Driven from afar, and that one is an absolute thunderbolt. Gosier up 2-0. The audacity to take that one from there and convert it. Take a bow, Ronan Popotai. Laces through it. Almost as if it was rising the whole way. His second goal of the tournament. The first one came on a penalty. That one was anything but that. And now it's a long road back for Jong Holland. Gosier seems to be on the precipice of a third-place finish here in this tournament. They've won 2 league titles in Guadeloupe. Giveaway. Chance for Jong Holland to get back into it. It's deflected. Out to Rocha, lines it up and puts it wide. Deflected, stayed in. Martinez shot blocked. And that one out for a corner. All of a sudden now it's Jong Holland that has to just throw caution to the wind and try to battle back from down 2. Almost getting the sense that Gosier wanted it a little bit more in this one today. And Jong Holland just absolutely deflated from the way their semifinal ended. You can't blame them. Human nature. Rocha comes through with it. Rocha's shot goes wide. But just human nature for Jong Holland. You score in the 95th minute, thinking you'd be through to the final. You could see twice in the remaining 7 minutes of a 12-minute stoppage time. And you just tip your cap when someone does something like that. Maybe you could question the positioning and the read on it from Mark Van Ansem and goal. Not many people are stopping that one. Rosa commits the foul, already on a yellow card, has to be careful. Leaves Malik Brosius down injured. Time wearing thin for Jong Holland to make a comeback in this one now. Got through the group stage without conceding a goal. They were seconds away from advancing to the final, but conceded twice in the closing couple of minutes. And now just a bit shell-shocked from the way this one has gone. The 2 goals scored by Gosier could not have been more different. You get the second one from, what was that, maybe 35, 40 yards out. Absolute blast from Popotai. And that comes after the first goal was scored from about 8 inches out on an accidental deflection by Johan Nankisori. Blocked on the shot from Sully. Now Gaspar's attempt to flex out. Jong Holland thought it deflected out. They were ready to set up for a corner, but out for a goal kick. Estadio over to Rocha. Quarter of an hour remains. Jong Holland down 2. Slotted through to Martina and swept away by Rempar Cole. Can he keep it in? No, out for a corner. Jong Holland hosted this tournament in 2019, reached the knockout round, lost in the semifinals. Corner curled in. Martina's header down is saved by Edouard. That's the best chance in quite some time for Jong Holland. Only their second official shot on target. Yes, Gosier making just their second appearance in a Concacaf tournament. They debuted last year as part of a combined, expanded 2021 Flow Caribbean Concacaf Club Championship. They went through Group C play without a win. That was their welcome to the party. Here's Sherwindel Rocha. Cuts it back onto his left foot. Sends it into the back post. And Martina couldn't handle it. So after that showing last year for Gosier, maybe playing a bit up in weight class, they come back with this showing in 2022. If they can hold on here with a 2-goal lead to come in 3rd place in the Concacaf Caribbean Club Shield. Russia goes down, wanted a penalty. Didn't get the call. And Gosier has made it through to this point, never having more than 2 options off the bench. To Martina. Again, trouble on the handle. Have to applaud the fight, the heart, the drive from this Gosier squad. They beat Real Rincon coming from behind in the first group match. They had 1 player listed on the bench. Goalkeeper Alan George. He took the field as a field player to give somebody who was injured a break in that game. That was Yuma Gaspar, who got hurt in that game. And then the same sub again made today with Alan George coming in for Gaspar. Never had more than 2 on the bench. No chance to rotate players, keep guys fresh. This is their 5th game in 9 days, Gosier. A small team from a small town on a small island. They are on the brink of a 3rd place finish in this tournament. Maybe if there's any regret on this Gosier side about what could have been in this tournament, had they have beaten Jong Holland the first time around in the group stage, instead of a 0-0 draw, Gosier would have gone through as the group winners, avoided Intermoengo Tepo, so they would have faced Bayamon. And perhaps things play out a little bit differently. They're playing at 8 p.m. Eastern time instead of this game in the final. Gosier would take a 3rd place finish, I'm sure, if it's that. Second sub for Gosier. It's their last listed player on the bench. Lucas Arden comes in for Romain Leonard. Played into space down the right side for Rempar Cole. And swept away by Bertal, out for kick. arcing toward rim pole. Lewin. So we'll play. And this one scored by Gosier and for Gosier. Always so tough mentally in a third place match to battle to the end, especially for a team like Jong Holland who expected to be in the final. And they especially expected to be there after the way their semifinal played out up through the 97th minute at least. A dozen minutes of stoppage time were granted in that one as a result of the player who spent the first 10 minutes of that half ill on the field. That game went all the way to the 103rd, over a dozen minutes of stoppage time. Jong Holland scored in the 95th minute to go up 2-1. Needed to just defend for 7 minutes and they'd be through to the final. Instead, they concede twice, including on the last kick of the ball. The final whistle blew while Bayamon was mid-celebration. Sluggish start in this one for Jong Holland. They had a good 15-minute period in the first half where it seemed like they might break through, take control of this game with a goal. That breakthrough never came, and the longer this game went at 0-0, you could see Gosier picking up the tempo, wind out of the sails of Jong Holland, and that Gosier just wanted it more to be able to say they finished in third here in this tournament. Here's Gaspar, flips it in, looking for Rosa. Dimitri Edouard, no trouble getting to that one. He's made a couple of stops in this one for Gosier. And for the amount of entries into the final third for Jong Holland, they have not taken nearly enough shots on Dimitri Edouard. Everything's got to go forward now for Jong Holland if they want any chance here. Chagnon down on the ground holding his head. Play continues around him. And now the whistle is blown by Fernando Moron. Waving the trainers on. See if we can get a closer look at what might have happened. Davidson Rosa defending. Oh, he just fell back and hit his head off the turf. Dangerous moment there as Chenot hits the ground. Also patching up a cut on his leg. Here's Remparcol taking it to the corner. Out for a goal kick. As Gosier just tries to eliminate the remaining minutes on the clock. Out for Martina. To the end line, but the touch too heavy, and it takes it over for a goal kick. Just 2 minutes to go, plus whatever stoppage time has in store. That's all that's separating Gosier from a third-place finish. Here's Chenot. Good to see him back upright after that very hard spill onto the turf. Battling down the corner and some shoving after the play. Chenot apologizing. Takes a yellow card. Now, apology or not, he still did what he did, and the referee is still right to issue that card.
Atención, por favor, una tarjeta amarilla ha sido mostrada al jugador número 2 del equipo Gosier, Chenot, a minuto 89. Your attention, please. The ball by admission to number 2 of the Gosier.
Skimmed along toward Clarissa. Taken by Rosa, out for Sherwindel Rocha. Back for Davidson Rosa. Just a sea of red around him. Quiet game from Gaspar on the ball now. Good ball in, though. That changes in a heartbeat. Dahl couldn't get a footing on it. And it's out for a corner kick. Gaspar has been the creator in this tournament for Jong Holland. Good ball in there. But you could tell that Ethelbert Dahl, a center back, just unsure what to do with it once he got there. Took it down off the chin. 3 minutes of stoppage time. So 3 minutes separating Gosier from finishing this tournament in third. top and headed back to Van Ensum. Skimmed along by Dahl. Toward Clarissa, bounds into Edward, and the ball nearly trickled over the line with the foul called against Jong Holland. Into now the final minute of stoppage time with Edward on the ground. Flag stays down, no whistle. Chance here to add another one for Gosier. Van Ensum makes the stop, denying the chance. And it deflects out now for a goal kick. Karim Lauba almost made it 3-0. To put an exclamation point on this one for Gosier. And there's the final whistle. AS Gosier, you can see the relief and the joy on their faces. They finished this tournament in third place. They did so with a bench that never featured more than 2 players. They battled through, and they are the third place finishers of the 2022 Concacaf Caribbean Club Shield.
Jong Holland 0. Ladies and gentlemen, the final score for this afternoon's game in the Concacaf Caribbean Club Shield is Gosier 2, Jong Holland 0. Qatar Airways, la aerolínea oficial de la Concacaf Caribbean Club Shield 2022, orgullosamente conectando desde 12 destinos en Estados Unidos al mundo a través de una red que sigue expandiendo. Volando de forma más segura y ecológica. QatarAirways.com. Concacaf agradece el extraordinario apoyo de los socios del torneo. Concacaf is grateful for the extraordinary support of the tournament's partners.
I'll look back at the full-time highlights from AS Gosier's win over Jong Holland. This was just the second time ever that Gosier was competing in a CONCACAF competition. Last year in a combined, expanded 2021 Flow Caribbean CONCACAF Club Championship. They made it into the group stage. They didn't win a single game. They were ousted immediately. That was just their first introduction to CONCACAF competition. This time around, they made it count. In the group stage, they finished in second place, and had they had this type of performance against Jong Holland in the group stage, they would have won the group. This is the first goal scored by Johan Nankasori. Just deflects completely unintentionally off his foot, and the backspin takes it across the goal line. Here's a closer look as he's falling out of bounds. It's off the back of his foot and curls past the keeper. That made it 1-0 in the 52nd minute. And at that point, Gosier was in total control. Jong Holland tried to find different ways through. Never really found their rhythm offensively. And then how about this from Onan Popatai from about 35, 40 yards out. That ball was rising the whole time. And made it 2-0 through the rain. Here's a better look at just how terrific that goal was. His second of the tournament. Gosier goes up 2-0 and never looked back as they go on to finish in third place here in this tournament. One last opportunity in stoppage time for Ethelbert Dahl, but couldn't bring it down on the ball in from Jean-Baptiste Gaspard. And the celebration begins on the bench for Gosier, finishing this in third place with a win over Jong Holland.
Qatar Airways, la aerolínea oficial de la Concacaf Versión 2022, orgullosamente conectando desde 12 destinos.
That does it for the third place match. But still more action to come from Mayaguez at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. The final between Inter Moengo Tapo and Bayamon. Don't miss that one. At the end of the third place match.